Don't let people live through you. I'm going to tell you guys a story that I've never told anyone. I have a cousin who died about a year ago. Now, me and my cousin were best friends, right? I used to live with him when I was like 7 years old. He was like 5 or 6 years older than me. He was like 12 or 13. And we would hang out every summer, for like 2, 3 months. Every year, when I would go to visit my dad, I would hang out with him, right? Now, like I said, he was like 5, 6 years older than me. Me and him were polar opposites, right? He was a very studious, hardworking, athletic, professional swimmer, professional football player, like in high school, like quarterback of the football team and top guy in the swim team and all these medals and honor student and stuff like that, right? Now, I was the exact opposite. I was a total rebellious free spirit, didn't care about academics. I was great at sports, but I never tried to really go far in it because I didn't enjoy it, right? But the thing is, his dad was always so hard on him to be successful. He did all these things. He wanted to be like me. He always admired me in my like childlike freedom. And it's funny because he was much older than me, but I was his best friend because maturity wise, we were similar and he just admired my freedom, right? So his dad would force him to do all kinds of things he didn't want to do, be the captain of the swim team and, honor roll and, tutoring other kids and all kinds of shit like that. And he always longed to be free like me, right? See, his dad was trying to live through him. His dad, my uncle, was like a poor guy from the Middle East who all he ever amounted to becoming was like a sleazy used car salesman, never went to high school, never went to college, grew up poor with like 14 brothers and sisters, in like a 2-bedroom house in the desert, right? So he was very embarrassed about his shortcomings, and he would try to live through my cousin by making him work so hard and all these accomplishments. Now, eventually my cousin graduated college and he went to dental school. Now, I met with him like once or twice. We became distant because our parents started fighting. My dad and his dad started fighting, and they kind of divided all the families up, and none of the cousins would talk to each other, right? But we all met up a couple times. When one of my aunts got sick, we would meet up and be forced to interact with each other. And I could see as the years went on, he became very miserable. His dad made him go to dental school. And I know him. He never wanted to be a dentist. He wanted to be free. He wanted to maybe he would have liked to be like a swimmer or like an athletic guy or run a business, but he didn't want to be a dentist. So he goes to like NYU and graduates, right? And a week before his graduation, he mysteriously dies. He fell off a balcony, I believe in Italy. Like, he was partying with some of the other guys from his dental school that he graduated with, and he just fell off a balcony and died. And this was like a year ago, and this always kind of messed with me because it's like he went all the way up to the top, right? Honor roll in high school, went to dental school, graduated, NYU, and then he falls off a balcony and goes straight back to the bottom and cracks his head open on the street and dies. And I'm like, this cousin of mine, he worked so much harder than me. He lived a life he didn't want to live to please his dad. And then he dies. He just dies. And the way he died was falling off of a balcony. He was leaning back on it, and I guess it was an old balcony, and it just broke, and he flew off of it and went all the way from the top straight to the bottom. And that always kind of messed with me because I'm like, that has to be God saying, look, you can try all you want to create power and success and whatever. I can take it all away from you just like that. It's like he fell from the top of the mountain all the way to the bottom, and he lived the life he didn't want to live, and he didn't have to live like that. He cut me off. He didn't cut me off, but he cut a lot of our cousins off, and a lot of family members off because he was just so forced to live up to his dad's expectations of becoming, this dentist and all these accolades and all this bullshit that doesn't really matter at the end of the day, only to die a week before his dental school graduation. And, ever since then, I totally stopped giving a fuck about doing what other people want me to do. Now, I was never like him. I was never the kind of person who would force myself to do things I didn't want to do. But after that, after I saw how quickly he lost everything, I was like, you know what? I'm not guaranteed tomorrow, so I'm going to build the stuff I want to build, regardless of how long it takes. Regardless of if I have to suffer or starve in the meantime, because I want to live my life. I don't want to live someone else's life. And never do things you're good at that you don't enjoy doing either. When I was a kid, I was a good soccer player. I was a good boxer. I was a good skateboarder. I quit all those things because I wasn't passionate about them. I'm passionate about this philosophy stuff. I'm passionate about this nutrition stuff. I'm captivated by the herbs. I'm captivated by the science of healing. I'm not captivated by, all of these superficial things, So, for example, I started a gaming channel the other day on I started a new YouTube channel, just as an experiment. And I was playing some of my old favorite games, like Pokemon and stuff, and doing like live commentaries. And the channel was growing pretty quick. It already had like a couple hundred subscribers in a few days, a couple comments. People thought the videos were funny, but I hated making them, and no one knows this. No one can tell, but I hated making those gaming videos. I was good at it, but I hated doing it. And I felt like it was taking away from my primary channel, which is this one, talking about the stuff I really want to talk about. To me, there is enough. I don't want to be like PewDiePie. I don't want to be some fucking gamer guy. That's not me. Yeah, sure, I might be good at it and it might be funny, but just because I'm good at it doesn't mean it's what I should be doing, right? So I deleted the channel. I'm like, dude, I want to just focus on my passion and what I feel matters more than anything, and that's this channel. That's the philosophy. That's the nutrition, all wrapped into one. If what I'm doing doesn't make me feel like I'm making a difference, like I'm doing something that truly matters, I don't want to do it, regardless of how good I am at it. And I think so many people settle doing things that they're not really passionate about just because they're good at it. I used to do that when I was in sales. I hated sales and I finally quit it. But so many people just live their entire life doing something they hate just because they're good at it. And I don't know, to me, that's just a test. I'm not saying I believe in God, but I think whoever's in control throws little tests at you. He says, I'm going to give you a few things that you're good at, but you don't really like. And then I'm going to give you something, if you have the discipline to resist that temptation, I'm going to give you something you're good at that actually gives you fulfillment. And we'll see if you're smart enough to go for that. That's just my little theory on that. So I don't know. I'm just... and like I've said in other videos, I'm prepared to pay the price of doing what I want to do, versus what I'm good at. So that's just my little story. If I rambled, I apologize. If I was all over the place, I apologize. But that's the moral of the story, man. Don't let people live through you.